I was born with a half a foot and 3/4 of a foot and some deformed fingers. And so there's a part of that growing up in that kind of family was they tried to protect me a little bit, but when you went off to school, there was always that rejection of other kids that would make fun of you and tease you about the things that weren't quote unquote normal with your body that other kids had. And so there's a lot of that part of rejection that went on in my early life, and that probably set the stage for a lot of things that happened later in life. Initially, Jesus impacted it in a way of being accepted beyond what I had experienced in my own families. My own family, while accepting of me, wasn't necessarily, we weren't a big loving family where it was overt and you knew that you were loved. It was just assumed that you were loved, and therefore you had to be okay with that. And I think accepting Jesus was one in which it was unconditional. I could be who I was, and he would accept me. And I think later in life, probably in the last 7 years or so, the thing that Jesus has really shown me, because I've still struggled with having deformed feet and deformed hands, is trying to figure out how does that work into God's kingdom, and what does that look like? When he hung on the cross, that his hands and his feet were scarred too. And that was something that when I finally realized that, it's been a lot easier for me to move beyond that and be able to understand that God loves me for who I am, and that he made me the way I am, and I'm okay with that. And that's probably been the biggest breakthrough in my life, is just that realization that Christ loves me no matter what. It's actually really, to some extent, hard to put into words. The acceptance that you get from God that you don't get from the world, because the world judges on outward appearance or on things you do or how successful you are. And God doesn't judge that way. God is very specific on what's going on in your heart, and have you made a commitment to him, and are you living for him? And that's the difference there, is he's not looking at those outward things that the world pursues, and that you can put your trust in him and things will be awesome.